Welcome to Rangers Radio on the Matchday show, the world's one and only unique live phone-in show for Rangers supporters all over the world. Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Well, good afternoon and welcome. Welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, folks, here on the show. Is it Robert? Afternoon, Robert.
Good afternoon, mate. How you doing? Hope you're well. Afternoon to all the
Good,
listeners
mate.
out there as well.
I'm good, mate. I must admit, I'm still not feeling good, mate, after that roller coaster yesterday with the Southside Super 6, mate. It's too much for me.
Oh, I know. Talk about hitting the crossbar, eh?
Well, there was a 90 seconds window, mate.
Nah, there was. It was keep an eye on your coupon time, I think, and if them did done the cash out, then well done. Quids up, I'm sure.
Thank you very much, mate. Thank you very much.
You can thank Mr. Southside. Maybe next week, eh?
Yeah. By the way, if you've got 5 minutes before we go into the game, go and have a look at the goal that beat him, mate. Equaliser. Wow.
Is that for Burton? Aye.
Aye.
I'll have a look at it.
Eh?
I'll have a look at it.
Yeah.
I'll have a look at it before the game starts.
Wow. Right, okay. Listen, we've got the team, a few talking points, so let's hear it.
Of course, mate, today's team is Butland, Sterling, Suter, Fernandez, Magoma, Raskin, Chukwuani, Scove-Olsen, Asgard, Gassama, and Chermiti. Substitutes are Kelly, Giga, Aarons, Tavernier, Diamondi, Antman, Bairami, Moore, and Miovski.
And the Hibs starting 11 is Salinger, Hanley, Yohan, Boyle, Newell, Chawini, Iredale, Abuta, Barassa, Agawa, and Rocky, mate. I'm not going to their subs. Look, people would argue this is close to our first choice 11, mate.
Aye, I certainly agree, mate. Certainly not far away, I would think, based on who's in the door at the moment in time and who's available in the squad team. So aye, it's quite a strong physical side if you look at it, Ox.
Well, we've got Suter, we've got Sterling, and we've got Fernandez in defence. Magoma has strengths his pace, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in midfield, we know that Raskin plays a physical game. He's not a giant, but he's no small like Cameron or young Connor Barron, yeah? But then you've got Chumiti and Asgard, mate. They're both 6'2" plus, aren't they? And then up front, we've got pace and we've got the power of Chumiti along with the 6'2" Olsen, mate. Things have changed.
Aye, it certainly has, and as you say, it's close to the probably the starting 11 a lot of people would predict. It's all about whether they can gel together quickly and have the chemistry and the relationships put up in the park and put in a performance worthy of a result today, mate. So I think to me, I don't know about yourself, mate, but to me it just strikes straight as a 4-2-3-1. I don't think there's any real debate about that one today.
No. At a push, a 4-3-3, but that's been at a push, mate. I see it setting up the same as you.
Especially with the inclusion of Asgard, you'd imagine he'd be in the 10 with Raskin and Chukwuani in the kind of the holding roles. Interesting to see what kind of role Raskin has, if how much freedom he's got to get forward, as much as he's got to be disciplined as well, not to leave Chukwuani isolated as well. Interesting to see how much of a license he's got to get forward and try and help the final third.
We need to score goals, mate, because we need to win the match. I'm not saying we need to win 5 or 6, mate, but we need to win the match, yeah.
You would take a Bridgeman right now, mate, if you asked anybody. It'd be a tough game. I know Hibs have had a wee bit of a bad run of form of late, but they still pose threats to us every time we go there. So it'll be a tough task, but as long as we're up to it, and it's be good to see the reaction from the squad, obviously, after Thursday night as well.
Thursday night was strange, but it's gone now, mate. And obviously, you've nearly changed half the team, mate. You know, you've got Sterling coming in, you've got the starting and Suter. You've got Chickamani, Scott Olsen and Asgard, mate. Yeah. Outfield, you've changed half the team, mate.
Aye, and it gives us quality and depth, but also the number as well, and we can rotate here and there. And obviously, I know Europe's done with now, so this will be the team going forward. Obviously, any changes up to 11 o'clock tomorrow night with the transfer window shutting. But going forward, mate, that group of players that's in the squad today will be the majority of the ones that take you through the rest of the season. And if you look at the bench as well, a bit of kind of depth and quality on there. Form might be off with some players, but compared to what it has been in recent weeks, there's a few options in the bench there that you can come on and impact games as well.
You pick the team on form. You could argue that the Jigger and Diamandi have got a case.
I am a wee bit surprised, I'll be honest, about the Diamandi one. I can see the kind of rationale, obviously putting an extra man in the kind of final third with Asgard, but Diamandi can play there as well. I'm a wee bit kind of surprised that Diamandi, as you say, based in form, he's turned games around at times. He's brought a bit of urgency to games when we've lacked it. That's a wee bit surprising. And I'll be brutally honest, mate, I did expect Suter to come straight back in the day to start alongside Fernandez. They seem to have a good relationship growing. And I think the experience of Suter helps Fernandez as well. He looks more comfortable than he does when he's beside Giga.
All right. People are joining us all the time, mate. Here's the team, and then we'll get the phone lines opened.
Yep, of course. Butland, Sterling, Suter, Fernandez, Magoma, Raskin, Chukwuani, Skov Olsen, Asgard, Gassama and Chermiti. Substitutes are Kelly, Giga, Aarons, Tavernier, Diamondi, Antman, Bairami, Moore and Miofsky.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Aye. There'll be a few talking points. I'll be honest with you. I didn't think Sterling would come back in. I was hoping, but I didn't think he'd come back in. But I think he's done a role, mate. He'll make sure everything's right, yeah, and time it, and hopefully we can see Sterling for now at the end of the season. Unless he's unlucky again, mate. You can't legislate for that, of course.
Aye, of course, mate. I'm like yourself. I think we were hoping that Sterling could have made it today, obviously, after seeing Tavernier and Arnold's performance on Thursday night in particular. But again, he is quite strong, powerful. He's got the pace. How long he'll last in this game overall, Ox, will be interesting to see. But you've got the two natural right backs as well on the bench, if required at any point. But I'm with yourself. I think going forward, that back four, obviously with the inclusion of Roman still to come in as well, I think that's the four that we'll see the majority of the rest of the season.
Right, if you don't mind, get yourself a mute. We'll hear what young Jaden Magoma's got to say, mate.
Jaden, back in Scottish Premiership action this afternoon, how important switching the focus onto what's been a really good domestic run of late and trying to get another 3 points today?
Yeah, the main focus is about today. We know what Hibs pose as a threat, and we know what we need to do to combat it today and make sure that we get the 3 points.
Yeah, what's it sort of been like the last couple of days? Always a quick turnaround after a midweek game, especially travelling away in Europe. What's the sort of focus been in getting the mindset right and going again?
To be honest with you, like any other game, we know that the focus is on the league now, and we need to make sure that we make it 8 wins in a row domestically.
Yeah, is that important as well? You know, European campaign's over, you reflect on that, but it's been such a good run in the league. There's 2 trophies to go for now. Is that the sort of mindset you know what you've got to play for between now and May?
Absolutely, that is the main focus, making sure we win every single game and putting ourselves in the best position to win the title.
Yeah, and of course, last weekend we saw a couple of the new guys integrated, the new signings, got a glimpse of them at Ibrox last weekend. What do you feel these guys can bring to the team?
Everything, you know, fresh legs and new faces is always a really good thing for competitiveness and helping the team essentially win the Scottish Premiership title.
Yeah, and you had success on this very pitch a couple of months ago. What you sort of expecting from Hibs this afternoon? It was a good performance that day, a win and a clean sheet. What's going to be needed today to replicate that?
Similar things from last time, you know. We know the threat that Hibs pose, and for us the main focus is on us today and making sure that we deliver.
Yeah, just lastly, what sort of qualities will Danny be looking for yourself and the squad to produce? And it's always a difficult away ground to come to, isn't it?
Yeah, we know we've been here before earlier on in the season. We know what they threat for us. Make sure that we focus and keep the same mentality we always do.
I like him, mate. I think he's a decent player, and I think he's a decent young fella.
Aye, he's still young, Ox, and we know defensively he's still got things to work on. But going forward, he gives us an out ball. He's got some engine on him to get up and down the park all day long. It will be a tough ask, obviously, to when Romans comes in as well. I know he's our player and Magoma's a lone player, but potentially we've got two good options there at fullback, which we didn't have for the first part of the season. But I think he's growing, he's developing as time goes on. The game experience he's had, I think he's done well. He's not really done anything wrong to say that he needs to come out the team quickly. He's kind of made that position his own. I know he's only a natural guy, but he still went to his work, put in the attitude and the application in games, and performed well most of the games.
Aye. Hey, listen, I'm not saying he's a finished article. He's got flaws defensively and the ball at the back post, etc. But as a footballer, young man, and the way he conducts himself, I rate him, mate. I rate him, and I think he's got a bright future in the game.
Aye, as long as he kind of keeps the head down and knuckles down and keeps working hard, then he'll go places, whether that's with us or elsewhere when he goes back to Brentford. But he's certainly got the world's his oyster if he wants to go and make a name for himself. And left back, there's not many natural of them about, particularly with his pace. So he's got some good assets there that can help him go forward.
Anyway, we've been joined by Carl. Morning, or afternoon, Carl.
Good afternoon, Ox. Good afternoon. Who's the other guy with you, Ox? I didn't catch you beginning.
Young Robert.
Young Robert. Right.
Oh,
I'm doing fine. Hey, don't you just love it? Try to pick a team and Danny Rule picks it completely different. You know what I mean? I have every confidence in this guy, you know that?
Well, are you just liking the cut of his jib, Carl?
I don't know what a jib is. For a start, I've never been in the Navy.
Well, it's a term for the cut of his jib, the chin, is how he looks, mate, and how he acts.
Aye, I do. I think he would love to burst out laughing sometimes. Do you know that? He's got that kind of face. He'd love to. I just like him. He's like, on his pressers and that, you can see now and again he wants to smile and just turn away, you know. But hey, it's great that we've got a manager that can put in players that you would never going to think he was going to be back. And I will say, your show is still the best on the radio. On what you get, the summary podcast that's Dane Maheed in, where they're all tactical experts and can pick teams. And I'm sick of hearing about who's the best clinical finisher at our club. We've never had one. You've got ones that can score goals but never play games. And ones that can't score goals and they play games.
Well, that would be some argument who's the best finisher at our club at the moment, Robert, wouldn't it?
I've heard it for years, you know. But hey, use Dave what you keep doing. You're the best. I'll keep phoning every now and again because I don't want to bore you with my attitude. But my attitude is always blue, and we're going to win. Give me a bridge, man. I'll be happy. I'll be dancing in the sea on the night, by the way. If
Carl,
we get that.
Carl, out of interest, mate, who would you have had in the team when you said that he's picked somebody different? Who would you have had in today?
I would just pick a team with Danny Rule takes. I'm not going to try and pick a team. Hey, it's Rangers. It's my team. Done. What he puts is my team.
I can't disagree with that, mate. Can't disagree. He's done well with his decision making so far. He's got everything.
Aye, I mean,
right.
You know one thing, he's going to get one or two wrong. It will happen. But up to now, he's never made a great, grievous error that I can think of. You know, and I don't. The worst bias I've got, I do not want to see Majowski coming into that team. Majowski brings nothing. I says it when we signed him. It's all right playing for Aberdeen that doesn't have the low block every week against him. He's not that type of player. I said that when we signed him.
I think the problem with Majowski, mate, is it's no. I think if you like, the frustrations of came for, he's no controlling the ball. He's not passing the ball well. Well, let him halfway if you're not getting chances made for you, but you've got to do other things, Robert.
Well, you look at the last 2 games, mate, where he's had a chance to have a shot at goal and he's passed it to the edge of the box for laying it off at times where you could have got a shot away. That itself lies a frustration. As I know your point as well about the services. Maybe we're not playing to his strengths, but as a football, you've got to adapt to implement into the game as well and help your team out. And you can see the noticeable difference when Chermiti plays compared to Miovski. As you say, the hold-up play in particular. Chermiti's passing isn't always great, but his hold-up play, just to relieve some pressure, bring people into the game, Miovski hasn't showed it. And I said it on Thursday night and I'll say it again. I think Miovski has got away with a lot so far because of the pressure and the noise around Chermiti. I think Miovski's kind of went under the radar. If we hadn't signed Chermiti and Miovski was doing what he's doing now, he'd be under a lot more criticism, I feel.
I agree with that. I really do. Aberdeen isn't Rangers. This is the whole thing in Scotland. Aberdeen is not Rangers. They never did play against a low block every second week.
Different pressures, mate. Different pressures, yeah.
That is. Right, I'll away and let somebody else come on. I might talk to you later. It depends how much alcohol I can squeeze into my system. But I've listened to a couple of good tunes before I put you on, just to keep me in the mood, you know. You've got to, when you're playing anybody called Hibernian, you've got to be in a good mood.
All right.
And get a dander up, you know.
You playing Glenn Miller?
Oh, of course. Dan Bing Crosby, you know. I love Bing Crosby singing, you know. He was brilliant at the sash, by the way.
Cheers,
right,
pal.
okay, cheerio. See you later, bye.
Enjoy yourself, Carl.
What a man.
That is brilliant.
What a man.
Always gets ready for a pre-match, doesn't he, Big Carl? Love to hear from him.
Let's put it this way. He's a character, eh?
Oh, like this show's full of them, mate. That's what makes this show, the characters.
Yeah, there's a few of them kicking about. Right. If you don't mind, once again, get yourself on mute and we'll hear from the gaffer.
Danny, a return to Scottish Premiership action this afternoon. How important is switching the focus of the players onto what's been a really good run in domestic form of late?
Yeah, I think a tough one today. We know this, especially when you play Thursday night in Porto, not so much time for preparing. That's the reason why we have to use the squad, some rotations in the squad. We know what it means to play against Hibs, always a difficult one, tight games, both teams fight, a lot of effort, all these things, and we have to be ready, we have to come to our 100% as a group. And we need a strong bench as well today.
Yeah, you mentioned the strong bench. You made 5 changes from Thursday night, bringing the likes of Dujon back in, the new signings. We got a first taste of them last weekend. What are you hoping these guys bring to the team today? And you've got that strength on the bench as well.
Yeah, I think for me it's important when I look to the game Porto and this game to plan a little bit. I'm really convinced that you need fresh legs for this high intensity game today. And the good thing is you have then 3-4 players on the bench. They can really make an impact. And they can maybe decide at the end of the game. For us it's important that we are well organized, a good structure against the ball, a good structure with the ball, prepare the rest defense. And if you do all these things right, we have a next good opportunity to take the next 3 points.
Yeah, you had a good result here earlier in the season. A good win with a clean sheet. What sort of different challenge are you going to expect from the last time you faced Hibs here?
Yeah, I think similar. It's a team who is organized. They know what they can do. I think both games against them was 2 times a win for 1-0, not more. And it was always close games. Yeah, we need in the last time. I think it was a set play game. Here, this game was an early goal from Danilo in this case. And today, yeah, you have to start well. You have to be ready. I think the atmosphere will be also ready. And we know what we have to do. It's about the next step, not the stacks, not more. And if you can do this, then we're on a good way.
Yeah, just finally, what key qualities are you looking to see from your team to try and keep this really good run going in the league?
Yeah, general, I think our strength was in the last couple of weeks the clean sheets. This is also what you need away. And if you can do this again today, I'm sure we can score. And if you score, then you can win games.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Fresh legs, simple as that. He's freshened it up. He's trying to use the squad. Perfect common sense. It's only after a match you'll know that there's any criticism. I'm happy with the teammate, so I want to put it out there. I think Diamandi's got a case in maybe De Giga, but if Suter's fit, he comes in and head of De Giga for me. Yeah. I don't think the last few games De Giga's been that bad. I mean, we read a lot after Thursday, and Tav had a nightmare. Aaron's wasn't much better, but he didn't have the defensive blunders at Tafford. So people were saying start Aaron's. I don't think they were bringing Sterling into the mix when they thought about that. So I think most people will be saying, well, fair enough. The criticism might be the two new players, but you've signed them to play them, mate. They've had this taste, they've had another week's training. Why not?
Exactly, as you say, it's freshness, and you've got to use the squad. If we want to kind of mount this challenge for the title, we've got to use the squad when we can and when it's applicable as well. It's a whole team effort. It's not just the 11 that's on the park. It's the guys that are on the bench waiting to impact the games. It's the guys that are pushing for starts, looking for places. So I take your point as well about people thinking Aaron's over Tav. Probably thought that Sterling was maybe touch and go for today, maybe too soon. Maybe see him maybe midweek, but I think it's a real plus that he's back as long as he can do the majority of the game. I do think he'll come off at some point, Ox, but it might surprise me and do the full 90. Just depends how really fit he can last the whole game. But I think it's a bonus having him in. And I agree as well with Suter. As I said, I think him and Fernandes have just got that kind of centre-back pairing relationship that Fernandes looks more comfortable with Suter next to him. And you know what Suter can offer. I know he's got his critics, but he does put his body on the line at times. He can be a bit of an aerial threat. And I think the experience just helps Fernandes as well.
All right, we've been joined by, I hope he gets this one, we've been joined by our own Scott Wilson. Words a wee bit. Good evening to you, Ozzy.
Good morning.
Oh, good morning. All right, aye, good morning. Sorry, good morning. Sorry, my arithmetic got it wrong. Sorry.
That's all right.
How you doing, mate? How you doing?
I'm all right. How's everyone?
We're all good at this end, mate. We're all feeling a bit better because our team's a bit better. You must be the same.
Yeah, I must admit I wasn't getting up. I wasn't watching the games earlier on in the season, so it's good to be able to enjoy watching our team playing again, because Danny's got them on a roll.
Oh, see what you've done there. See what you've done there. He's right, Robert. We understand it. We understand it. The start of the season was unique, but it's gone now. And one the day is 8 domestic victories in a row. Robert.
It is, and we had the blip at Tynecastle and we reacted well. We've also had the blip on Thursday night as well. So it's now about reaction, and as you said as well on Thursday after the game, mate, now's the time to go and get the runs going. Domestically, we've been doing well. Keep up the day. We've picked a strong side, physical side. Let's hope we make the right decisions at the right time, particularly in the final third. So certainly, I expect it to be a lot more solid at the back, with Suter starting next to Fernandes and Sterling coming in. But now we just need to kick on. Europe's finished with. Europe's done. The games in the past are done. Focus today. And as Scott's saying, let's just roll on from here into the next few games, mate, because there's big games coming up, and every game at this moment in time seems to be bigger than the last one because of everything you have to play for.
Aye. Can you put your finger on what Danny Roll's done, Scott?
I feel like he's just brought everyone back together again. It felt like the team was all split, and now he's got them all on the same page, and they're just running with it.
Aye, well, I think you're fair, mate. It did look to the naked eye that he'd lost the dressing room. We've also joined by Billy. Afternoon, Billy.
Afternoon, Teddy Bears. Afternoon.
How you doing, Billy?
No bad, mate. No bad. Looking forward to the game, mate. Oh, it was just... Hiya, Scott, all the way from Australia as well. Well played, that, man. Well done, mate, for phoning in. Brilliant.
No worries, mate.
Oh, no, I was just listening to a call earlier about... I was talking about my off-ski and that, right? I think the boy's been a wee bit hard on Majowski. Majowski's only played 18 games or something for Rangers, you know. Listen, could he have done better? Of course he could. You know, he's had wee niggly injuries. He's been in and out the team. He had a hamstring injury, which we all know, played football, mate. You get a hammy, man, you're out for a wee while, and it's always in the back of your mind when you're wanting to make your dashes forward and all that, etc., etc. But when you look at Majowski, where he's actually came from, throughout his football career, not just at Ibrox, at Rangers, mate. You know, when you look away back to his Budapest days, etc., you know, it took a wee bit of time to start to hit the ground. You know, so and then he's came good as he's progressed in his career with that individual club. Apart from Girona, right enough, it never happened with him more than that way, I might add. But all the other clubs he's played with, that's how it's went in his career. So I think he's just one of the type players. It's just got to take him that wee bit longer to settle. But I'm going to stick with Majowski in that one, Ox, because I think we've definitely got a goal scorer on our hands, and that's what we need at Rangers, you know. But the team today, mate, it looks a good setup. I'm sure we'll have more than enough, and I mean more than enough, to turn Hibs over the day, mate. And I'm really looking forward to getting the 3 points in the bag and get back up the road here with the Rangers.
Would you have brought the 2 new players in, Billy?
Aye, I would have, mate. I would have, mate. Because you've got to listen. There's no point bringing these players in. They're your signings. And if you think they can make the team stronger and benefit Rangers and the games, etc., then you've got to pick your money where your mouth is, type thing. I mean, you see it a million times. Managers should have said sign footballers to fit the clubs, etc., and they'll not play them, you know, for one reason or another. Sometimes they're injured, etc. But if I'm signing the 2 laddies, mate, I am firing them into my team, because I think they can. Obviously, the vision that Danny Rowe's got for his team and the way he's wanting Rangers to play, he obviously thinks that they 2 players are part and parcel of that jigsaw he's trying to put together, Ox.
Would you have played the 2 new players, Scott?
Yeah, I mean, they've obviously been bought as starters, so, and the club's put some money on them, so yeah, why not start them? Give them more game time, get them gelling with the rest of the team, especially when they missed out during the it was Friday morning, Friday morning against Friday morning, yes, against Porto, so they missed out then. So yeah, some of the ones at the front.
I think we both had them in our team, didn't we, Robert?
Listen, Ox, it's no kind of stating the obvious here, but when you bring players in January, you bring them in to improve your squad that you've had for the first part of the season, to think that they can do better than the guys that have been in the place up to then. So to me, it makes sense. Chukwuani's a physical presence in midfield, which we've lacked, so it makes sense. I agree that Diamonde on form is a bit unlucky to be dropped onto the bench. I take that on board and I agree with it. But I've said it before, Skov Olsen, he's got the qualities there, mate, which I don't think we've had, particularly in the final third. We're calling it out every game that we're making the wrong decisions, we're not getting the right service. This guy has something in his locker. If he gets the ball at the right moments himself to cause danger, create a goal, get a goal for himself, or create a chance or an assist from a teammate, it's a no-brainer to bring people in when you bring them in January, simply because you're improving the squad.
Aye. The problem is, isn't it, Billy? It's the classic chicken and egg. You bring them in, you want to get them fit, but you don't play them. And then if you're talking about getting used to things, it's the gamble of bringing in new players, isn't it? You know, there's no perfect way of doing it.
No, there's no. You hit the nail on the head there. There's no a perfect way of doing it. You know, I mean, you could bring them in. Look at the situation with Gassama. When Gassama first came there, the first couple of games, you looked at, hey, we've got a hell of a player here. You know what I mean? The gas man, etc. The nicknames are all flying about and all that, all the memos and all that. You know, and then you look, his form's dipped, and some of it can flip the opposite way as well. You know, that some players will. Perfect. You took the words right out of my mouth there. Perfect example, Chermiti. You know, and I was one of the ones, believe it or not, that was like the rest is. But I think we were all singing off the same song sheet then with Chermiti. But look how much that laddie's come on. So it's all about giving the players time in that, Ox, listen. And if they've got the ability, which we think they have, then they will. It's just like that's just part and football, troops. Sometimes you hit the ground running, sometimes you don't. Unfortunately, the nature of the beast at Rangers is you've got to hit the ground running right away, because we don't accept that. That's just the way it is, and just the way it's always going to be. But aye, listen, listen. We hope that laddie. We've always struggled doing that right hand side for a wee while now. But hopefully this laddie can be the laddie to solve that problem.
Aye. Listen, going back to your just quickly, Billy, with your Majowski one. I don't think it's his chances that's getting him if you like, it's his play. He's not had any real sitters. All right, there's a couple of shots he should have took in that split second in the last couple of games. You think maybe if you had your confidence, you'd have hit that first time. I think I think some of the criticism is becoming for his basic play, mate. Yeah, just to hold it in and knocking it back 10 yards. He doesn't seem to, leading the line play. I get it, he's not a physical player, but you should still be able to pass the ball 10 yards, mate. And I think that's where the criticism comes from. If you make him chances, hopefully he scores goals, and then people don't care that you can't trap a bag of cement if you're scoring goals, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Listen, I totally get that argument as well. But listen, he's not just the only one there. Sometimes it frustrates the life. He can't pass the ball 10 yards. You know what I mean?
For instance,
Gasman. Even the club captain's done it. Tav's done it. I know. You know what I mean? Gives a ball away cheaply. Shooter's done it. It's happened right through the team, schoolboy stuff like that. But what I noticed the one I noticed with Majowski, mate, was it was a Dundee United game up at Tannadice, right? And he was playing away and that. I think that was the night did he score that night? I can't remember anyway. He scored there. He got his injury, or it was just after that. But they dropped him out. He played him away on the right hand side, right? And he was coming away back deep for the ball. And you watch him during the week here again. Sorry, was it? Did he come on during the week? No, it was again. Sorry, aye. But he come away, aye. And then the game against Dundee and all, right? He came away. He's dropped him away back into the pocket, right in where the sixes to try and get himself involved in the game. So he's coming. It's not as if he's not shown for the ball or he's hiding in games. I just think it's taking him time to try and get into that nucleus, that mold type thing that he knows. Right, listen, that's your position there. You just play in that position. I think he gets frustrated sometimes when he doesn't get the ball and he goes hunting for the ball type thing. Whereas if he should just bide his time and just sit and play his position. Maybe that's the case. Or maybe that's what the gaffer's asked him to do. Maybe the gaffer's asked him to say, listen, to do that job for the team. Aye, do that.
You know what it's like with Jules, Billy. You've got to do with your tail.
Aye. Get a good job she's not in the new anyway.
You do what you want to do then.
I think I've got 10 minutes.
Listen, Robert, just come back to, and then I'll bring Ozzy in. Just come back to the wide players. Maybe the competition now we'll get 2 out of 3. So we'll go Gassama, young Finley's away on loan, and that's a debate for another day. But Scott Wilson and Mikey Moore, Mikey's form's dipped the last couple of games. He felt as if he had something, but is he picking the team on form between Moore and Gassman? What's your take on that, Robert?
I think it's hard to say because they're both kind of went off form compared to what they had shown previous games.
Mm-hmm.
I think, for me, I've said it before, I think Mikey Moore is more of a 10 than he is a left winger. And I don't know if that's where his natural position would be in the wide left. I think he influences games a lot more in the central area. But if you're tossing between the two of them, on form, it's hard to pick who has the edge on form because they've both dropped off in what they were beforehand. So
my last 2 goals have been scored by the Gassman, mate. I
think that's possibly the only thing is contribution the last bit. Again, it's a very small detail. Important detail, of course, scoring goals, but I think that's the only thing that maybe gives him the slight edge. But on form, it would be hard to kind of pick one. You can see he's trying to have 2 players for each position almost. Right side, you've got Scott Wilson, Antman, left, Salmon and Moore. It's who he thinks is going to be the best in the game that's in front of him to go and influence it. But Salmon needs to start running at defenders, as you've touched on in the past week, take players on, get the ball in early, because there is times he can put it in early and he always cuts back and chops back, which gives teams time to reset. So if he can add that to his game, get it in quicker, he'll start getting more contributions and hopefully players are in the right position to get goals.
Was he?
Yeah, I mean, what Robert says is completely what I can't really add too much. I mean, he's more or less doing what Gerrard did when he was in. Gerrard had two or three players for each position, and look where that got us. So more power to him.
Aye. What's your take on it, Billy? I mean, I'm not saying Gasman's in form, but 2 goals in 2 games, mate. He's your lift, innit? Should give you a lift.
Well, it should do. You know, you would think that, because we know we've spoken about it a million times as well on the show, and that, and the right and the rest of the country. That's how wingers are. Wingers come in and out of form constantly all the time. But when you're adding odd goal to your game as a winger, then that suggests you've turned that corner, you're hitting a wee bit of form, your confidence up, you know, you're a wee bit more, how can I put it? You're a wee bit more confident in your own ability, and you try the wee things that you maybe wouldn't have tried in the last couple of games or so, you know. So Gasman, listen, I like Gasman, you know, but it frustrates me as well when he gives the ball away cheaply in silly areas, you know, and he gets the ball and he'll no lift his head and all that. Like, that's all part and parcel of being a professional football player. The basics like that, if you can't do the basics, unfortunately, you shouldn't be a professional. That's just the way I'm on it. I could, maybe I'm old school ox, like, you know, watching, you know, when you watch, you would expect that for an amateur football player, no a professional. Today, a professional football player should be able to do the basics right.
Aye, see when you take more and you take Gasman. Here's my take on the two of them just quickly. I think Gasman gets frustrated with himself and wants to get more of the ball, and he is relatively inexperienced, but he shows an attitude where he's fit every week and he turns up, and we've been critical of players in the past. He scores some good goals, and if he could get some more assists into his games, his numbers would be pretty good for the minutes on the pitch. Mikey Moore, I just think it's simple, Robert. I just think he's trying too hard to impress, and that's the inexperience, because he knows he's got ability. So he just tries to do that small thing too much when he should release the ball. Just my take on it, mate.
I think that's something you can be said for quite a few players in the team, Ox. It's just the timing, the release of the pass and the ball. I get players want to drive forward and give people a lift off their seats when they're running with the ball and exciting, but when the pass is on, and it's a simple pass, whether it's forward or out wide, just to create something, I think that's a downfall of a lot of players, not just Mikey Moore. But you notice it with Moore because it's the positions he does it in, particularly in the final third, where the decision making can go astray at times, and more so in recent times in games where we've not really capitalised. But it is again something that you look at and you can see evidently, and he maybe just needs that arm around the shoulder from Danny Rule just to say, you're a technically gifted player, but just release the ball at the right time and make your way into the box, because you might be on the other end of it. You might get a goal himself rather than to try and create too much, as you're saying.
Listen, with all the aids they've got, mate, you just sit down with the recordings and say, look, there, go, bang. There's when she's released it. There, bang, bang. It's difficult to do that when you're coaching a boy at amateur level. They've got all the tools. You can pause it and say, look, you've done really well, really well, really well, and you've ended up making a mess of it because you've not released it. There's the pass. But you have to, yeah, that's modern coaching, Billy, isn't it?
Neil in the head again, Ox, that's just the way it is. You know, they've got all that brilliant technology at their disposal, at their disposal, should I say. And that's the way it is. You know, so that's a great shout. They should be showing the laddies and different people when they go through.
I don't doubt we are, mate. You're just trying to get the seed to drop in.
Aye, of course. Of course. There is laddies there that come in, they want to impress, they want to do the best. Of course there is. That's what they're professional football. They're playing at a magnitude of a football club like Glasgow Rangers. We totally get that. And they want to go and impress. But sometimes you just need to take that wee step back and just say, hold on now. As you said there, wee arm round the shoulder. Listen, son, right? You were good there, you were good there, you were good there, and look what you done there, right? That's all it takes. Just to highlight that wee bit of their game, you know. But they'll be all right, Ox. You know, they'll be all right. We'll be fine today.
They're both decent football players. Ozzy, how do you think it's going to pan out today? What's your prediction? What you thinking, and who's going to be our main men?
Ooh. Well, I'm hoping we get an early goal and take the their supporters out of it. Main man. Oh, I'd like to see Chimiti get on the scoreboard again.
I agree, mate. I agree.
And I wouldn't mind Scott Wilson, or Scott Wilson as you call him, get on the scoreboard as well.
Robert?
I'm going to go with 3-0 Locks, Chermiti double in Asgard.
Listen, mate, I think that would be fantastic. Fantastic result. That would be a lot of positives, and I think it'd be good if Chermiti gets a goal. I think he needs a goal just to just keep it going. Billy?
Aye, Ox, I said 2-0 on the show during the week, but I'm changing my mind. I'm going for 3. I'm going for 3-0. Chermiti, Asgard, and Olsen for a goal for me. Got to spread the goals round about the front line.
Spread the love, Billy. Spread the love.
Correct. Talking about spreading the love, I'll need to go and get Jules macaroni and cheese on, mate. She cooked her.
See my point. You've got to do with your tilt.
Aye. I'll need to go and get her macaroni and cheese on, mate. So listen, the door will be getting rattled, coming fleeing open shortly. You know what I mean? In fact, they already done that. I told you. Couldn't your time to any better? Right, lads,
Billy,
enjoy the game and I'll speak to you later.
Man's man.
Take care, Billy.
Bye.
You've got a lot to learn from him, Robert.
Oh, I know. I'm going to start messaging him for kind of some hints and tips.
You get all the tips on here, mate. None of them will work for you, but you get all the tips.
I was going to say, maybe not good ones though.
Aye, if you're prepared to get your throat cut while you're sleeping, listen. It's a big game. It feels a big game, Robert. You know, it's 3 points. That's what it's all about. Yeah.
It is, mate. It's 3 points. I think if we take any victory, even a bridge man, obviously we want to see some goals on the score sheet and scorers, just to, as Billy said, share the goals out, get some confidence in some players that have scored a goal. But ultimately, mate, it's 3 points. Hearts are sitting there with a 7-point lead. They're going nowhere. So it's up to us to keep the pressure on, and should the opportunity come at any time, capitalise on it. But that's in the future. Now it's just about today. 3 points. Back to Glasgow.
Here, mate. Here. Last word for your good self, Ozzy. Yeah.
Yep, 3 points and up the road with no injuries. That's all I want.
Simple.
A double. Simple as that. Double Brisbane for me. 3 points is even more important. I don't care if it's a Dow 1-0 win to us. It's 3 points.
Yeah. Great to hear from you, brother. Great to hear from you, bro.
No worries. I've been enjoying the shows during the week. I wish they went longer because some of the chats you've been having are just excellent. Absolutely
Cheers,
brilliant.
Mate.
So
Cheers,
keep
mate.
it going.
Remember, you're a big part of this show, always have been, mate.
Yep, no worries.
Cheers, mate. Last word for your good self, Robert.
That's just for having me on again this afternoon, mate. Looking forward to the game, as Scott says. 3 points, no injuries if we can, and back across the road, and I'll join you after the game as well, mate.
You're here. Listen, thanks to Cal, the one and only Cal, Ozzy Chair, and of course our Billy for taking the time to join us here in Rangers Radio. Robert for doing the show. Box and Old School Blue for doing the technicals. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back 15 minutes after the final whistle, celebrating Danny Rowe's 8th straight victory in a row domestically. Take it away, Old School Blue.
the victories. It was strong as strong can be. And when I grow old, all my sons will be like me. They'll follow the greatest club in history, the famous RFC. Na 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 na, na na na, na na na, na na na, na 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 na. The famous RFC. Na 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 na.